In this demo, I'm going to simulate a real-world attack scenario using TryHackMe and the Metasploit Framework. We'll walk through how an attacker might discover and exploit a known vulnerability on an unpatched Windows machine, and just as importantly, how that vulnerability could be identified and fixed by a defender. We're going to start by using TryHackMe. You can see I'm logged in now. I have a free account. TryHackMe provides a safe cloud-based lab environment with vulnerable target machines, and an AttackBox, which is a pre-configured Linux machine with all the tools we need. From within the AttackBox, we're going to use Metasploit, a powerful penetration testing toolkit, to search for known vulnerabilities, launch an exploit, and gain shell access to the target machine. So I'm in the dashboard view of my free TryHackMe account. I'm going to go here to Learn, then Hands-on Training. I'm going to search for rooms related to Metasploit. That's the framework we're going to use. I'll select Metasploit Introduction. This is going to provide the infrastructure I'm going to need to learn about and begin using the Metasploit framework. First thing I'm going to do is click Start AttackBox. This is going to start a browser-based Linux machine with all the tools I need pre-installed, including Metasploit and Nmap. We'll wait for that machine to fully initialize. There we go. The AttackBox is now running. Initially, it shows some things that you should keep in mind when using the AttackBox, as well as some usage instructions. Now I'm going to expand Task 1 in the TryHackMe interface, and I'm going to scroll down and look for the Start Machine button. This is going to launch the vulnerable machine. It's usually Windows 7. This is the system we'll scan and attempt to exploit during the demo. You can see the target machine is starting. If I scroll up in the TryHackMe interface, I can see the target's IP address. This is what we'll use to connect and scan the machine from the AttackBox, which we already started and is running on the right half of the screen. Let's first make sure the target machine is reachable from the AttackBox. First, let me press any key to close this terminal window. Then I'll open up a new terminal. I'm going to confirm the target is reachable. I'm going to type ping, and then I'm going to enter the target machine's IP address, which I can see in the TryHackMe interface on the left. This checks whether or not the target machine is reachable. If the ping replies successfully, I know the network connection is working. Looks like it's working. I'm going to enter Control-C to exit the ping sequence. Now I'm going to scan the target with Nmap. SV stands for Service Version Detection. This is going to look for open ports in service versions on the target machine. If I scroll up here, I can see ports 139 and 445 are open, and the operating system is listed as Windows 7, which means this machine might be vulnerable to EternalBlue, which is a common and critical exploit. Let's identify if that's true. I'm going to launch the Metasploit framework. I'm going to type MSF console and run that. Metasploit is a powerful tool for identifying and exploiting known vulnerabilities. You can see the framework is starting. And there it is. So I'm going to search for any module related to EternalBlue, which is a well-known exploit targeting unpatched Windows systems. I'll type search, EternalBlue, run that. If I scroll up, I can see all the modules that it found. I'm going to use the first one right here. So I'll load the EternalBlue exploit module, which targets MS1710. This was a critical vulnerability from 2017. I'll type use, and then the full path of the module. This is the full path from above. We're basically getting ready to send this exploit to the target machine to see if it's vulnerable. Now we're going to tell Metasploit where to send the exploit. So we'll set our hosts, and then the target IP. That's the IP address of the target machine. Now I'm going to set the payload. The payload is the code that actually runs on the target machine after the exploit works. In this case, I'm going to use something called a Meterpreter reverse shell. So if this works, the target machine will connect back to me and open up a special kind of terminal, one that gives me full remote control of the system. So I'm going to set payload and then specify the Meterpreter. There it is. I'm going to run that. Now I'm going to set my own IP so the reverse shell knows where to connect back to. This is the AttackBox's internal IP address. So I'm going to set lhost and then specify the AttackBox's IP address. I can actually see it here at the top. I'll type that here. If I didn't know the IP address was there, I could actually get my IP address. I'll show you how to do that. Let me open up another tab in terminal. You can actually see the IP address there, but I could run IPA. This shows a lot of information. If I look here, I can actually see the IP address of the attack box. Let me go back to my other tab in terminal. I'll actually set the lhost. There's the IP address. I'll run that. Let me just show the options. This is going to display all the required and optional settings for the exploit and payload that we've selected. So I'm going to show options. If I scroll up, I'll see the R hosts and the L host. With everything set, I'm going to run the exploit. If the system is vulnerable, I'll get a remote shell. I'm going to type run and then run that. There we go. Looks like it's working. If it successfully infects the system, I should get the Meterpreter. There it is. Now I have remote access to the machine. Let me just confirm. I'm going to run some commands on the target machine. I'm going to type sysinfo. This is going to give me the machine's operating system. It's Windows 7, just as expected. Then I'm going to get UID. This is going to verify which user I'm running as. I could also print the working directory where I am on the target machine. There it is. Of course, I can also list all the files in that directory. There they are. At this point, we have all the information we need about the exploit on the Windows 7 target machine. There are different ways of remediating this, all of which are beyond the scope of this demo. But you could apply the MS1710 patch from Microsoft, or you could block port 445 on the target machine. These are pretty typical ways a defender would fix the exploit on the target machine. But for now, I'm going to exit the Meterpreter, and then I'm going to exit Metasploit, and then I'm going to close the entire terminal application. Our testing is done, so I'm going to terminate the target machine, and I'm going to terminate the attack box. Thanks.